Greetings ladies and gents, and welcome to this video for Fork This Life, written by Jinxes 2011. This video contains chapter 29, and as always I hope that you enjoy, and if you do, please consider subscribing. Chapter 29, Destined to Die. Gerald Point of View. I'm going out for a bit, back in a minute, I tell Ferdinand telepathically as the group moves out again. Okay, he replies, and I slip out of his top of his pack and onto the ground. Mounted as they are, I am quickly left behind. When I'm sure that they're too far to see me, I pick myself up off the ground with telekinesis and hover back towards the mansion. Apologies, Mr. Doppelganger, but your body is just too juicy to me to pass up. Whatever is buried in an unmarked shallow grave around the back of the mansion. It's not like there's any love lost with the late Doppelganger and our group, but apparently paladins have enough decency that they won't let even their enemies be devoured by wild animals. So they buried him. And now here I am. Devouring corpses is morally questionable in the first place, but when it comes to people's corpses, the line is very obviously and completely crossed. Unfortunately for me, I'm too paranoid being in a world like this to not cross a few lines, when I can't even tell what tomorrow will bring. Still, I have standards. I have had to have standards, else I risk becoming something truly inhuman. Only enemies, and hopefully someday I'll become strong enough that I can say no to sentient beings either. Perhaps I have already reached the point of no return, but my choices are to cross a few lines or run and hide from a world until I'm strong and confident enough to face it. I don't want to abandon Ferdinand. I don't know if he's strong enough to survive. What if the Empire is being in such a turbulent situation? With the paladins there, he should be safe enough, but there's too many things I don't know. I don't understand. Demons! Where do they come from? Are there more of them? Sentient monsters, heck, monsters in general. Politics. Damn it, even when I'm in another world, I'm getting angry at the people in power. I burrow through the shallow layer of earth above the body, and I've stopped getting notifications when I absorb earth. I wonder why. I absorb the doppelganger's body bit by bit. Level 48 doppelganger absorbed. Experience gained 12,650. Durability recovered 0. Skill proficiency increased, absorb 0.01%. Skill gains, melee weapon, spear, advanced, doppelganger, static. Traits gained, bloodthirsty. Error, trait contrary to user's personality profile, erasing. Level up, you are now level 32. 11 stat points gained. 2 levels at once, not half bad. Now, let's see, I want my int and my wisdom to be equal again, but the points won't let me without being annoyingly exact. Well, I've needed to put a few points in dexterity for a while now, get me a bit better motion perception. Fortunately, I have the trait which doubles my effective dex stat, so I don't have to put many in. How about 3.5? Makes that one bit uneven, but I care less about that than int and wisdom. Then 4 into intelligence and 3.5 into wisdom, putting them both at 52. This puts my radius of vision up to just above 1.5 kilometers. Now, to the other things I gained. I'm kinda glad that I didn't get the trait called bloodthirsty, but now I'm left wondering what it did. Also, that can happen. It doesn't fit my personality, so I can't get it. Anyway, who cares about the spear skill? I can't use spears. Wait, would that effect apply when I turned into a spear somehow or the other? Questions for later. Now, the skill I'm actually interested in. Doppelganger. Static, high unique active. Upon designating a target of the skill, physical contact is required. Target must be a living being. You shall take on the physical appearance of that target. After doing so, you have 24 hours local time to kill your target. If successful, you will be given a choice of permanently retaining its appearance of the target, gaining the target's memories and skills. Although the skills obtained shall be one proficiency level lower than the proficiency level of the target formerly had at that skill. or gaining the ability to switch between your original and the target's appearance at a cost relative to the difference between the two forms. If unsuccessful, you will regain your original appearance. Furthermore, the skill will be permanently erased with no possibilities of obtaining it again, regardless of the method is used. Well, this is a skill and a half, and it poses a difficult dilemma. Becoming a human again, or another humanoid race, the option's there, permanently, giving up my not inconsiderable advantages of stealth, perfect memory, doubled mana pool, and regen. I doubt a material trait will affect a human not being influenced by hormones and emotions, as well as lacking the need to sleep, eat, and drink. I will, however, gain some additional skills and memories, or take the risk and gain the ability to switch between the two forms, being able to utilize the advantage of both, despite not gaining any additional skills and memories. Also, the cost mentioned is rather vague. It'll probably be mana, these things usually are, but it's hard to tell. Well, let's see. I don't actually fancy getting somebody else's memories. Mine are fine as they are, thanks. The skills would be nice, depending on the target, although it would be quite difficult finding a person that is both evil enough to warrant me killing them and has skills that complement my own. That's quite a few points against going permanent human. How about choosing the switch ability? I lost out on the opportunity to gain some new skills reliably, and that will cost probably be quite large. Those aren't really the similarities between the human and a fork, but then again, there aren't really any downsides to choosing this option, even if the cost is too high for me to use, whereas permanently becoming human, there are just too many downsides. Of course, choosing to switch may be passing up the chance to regain a normal movement, sight, hearing, speech, and taste, and everything else. Things which I have dearly missed, but I'm confident that even without the skill, I'll find a way to get them back one day. The switch choice it is then. Of course, I still have to find a suitable person first. With my business here done, I head back towards the others. Sadly, it would be too much harder to slip back into Ferdinand's pack while they're on the move than it was to step out. So I travel parallel to them for a while, letting Ferdinand know of my situation through telepathy. One might think that I'd run out of psi eventually, but in actual fact, I regenerate more psi than I use to keep myself aloft, which is around 4 psi per minute, and keep myself moving at the same pace as the horses. I do this until everyone stops for a break. After that, it's simple as calling Ferdinand over to pick me up off the ground. After that, I am able to relax and watch the scenery pass by as we head towards the capital. I am Lily Paladin of Vitus. Those behind me are also paladins and priests of the various gods and goddesses. We seek an audience with the prince. I watch Lily as she negotiates with the gatekeeper to keep us inside. From where we are, the entire palace is already in my sight. Now, I just had some sort of magic projectile I could guide. I hardly would even need to go inside. Well, I doubt the palace would be without any means of magical protection, so it's all the same, really. The guards hesitate. The prince isn't accepting visitors, but with your unique identities, I think I should at least send a man to inquire for you. Thank you. Lily nods in appreciation as the guards rings a small bell, causing a messenger to come running. Unfortunately, he jots the message down on one piece of paper then hands it to the messenger, rather than telling him, so I don't know what the message is actually sending, but from what I can read of his body language it doesn't seem hostile. A tad wary maybe, but he's a guard of the royal palace. It's his job to be wary. While we wait for the messenger to return, well, I'm tracking his progress so that I can easily identify the prince as well. But apart from that, I take a closer look at the palace. It's excessively lavish, as one might expect of a palace of a country called the Empire. I can see a man wearing a gaudy clothing pacing in a large bedroom, with a crown resting lightly on a padded box on a desk. The Emperor, I assume. And in a room beneath the palace, a man with horns and a pointed tail. Well, there's our demon. The sheer volume of hidden passages is rather off-putting. Even the Emperor's room has 2, one leading to another bedroom nearby, and the other spiraling down through the walls, underground into a passageway that extends so far that it goes clean out of my vision. The uses of both are blatantly obvious once seen, but without my particular set of skills, both of them would be extremely well hidden. Well, it looks like something is happening. The messenger has finished talking to a young man that I'm tentatively going to assume to be the prince, and now both are moving off in separate directions. The messenger is heading back to us, and the prince is heading to... let's see. Either the kitchens or the large room furnished with plush chairs. I'm going to assume the latter. Then again, he could just be peckish. He isn't. The messenger shortly returns, informing us that the prince is willing to see us. Very well then, I will have to ask you to leave your bags and weapons here for the duration of your visit, the guard says, and then glances behind us at the horses. I'll have a few stable boys come over and take care of your horses as well. Seeing him say that, I stealthily creep out of Ferdinand's pack and slip into his coin pouch with some help from the form manipulation. He looks over at the paladin's armor carefully. The armor will be fine, but the helmets will have to come off, and make sure to be careful in the hallways. If you damage something, you'll have to pay for it. The messenger here will take you where you need to go, and I don't think I need to say it, but please don't wander around. The guards are everywhere. Thank you. We will be sure to take care, says Lily. The guard just nods stoically in reply, and we falter through the gate, across the lawn and into the palace itself, following the measured footsteps of the messenger. A few short corridors later, the messenger knocks on a door. On the other side of the door, the prince says, "Come in." Ferdinand, POV. As the door closes behind us, my first impression is that he's younger than I imagined. Younger than me, even. Then the paleness eerily similar to the stories of vampires I was told as a child. But I can see the characteristic fangs when he smiles, so I put my suspicions to rest. "Welcome," he says, smiling. "Take a seat, and we can discuss the reason for your visit here." He gestures to the lavish furniture from where he sits. Is that for sitting? It looks more like a decoration. Nobody takes him up on the offer, however. His smile falters slightly. "We have found evidence that suggests that you are conspiring with a demon and were at least partly responsible for the actions of a necromancer, which caused a widespread death and destruction," Lily states succinctly. The prince's smile turns into a frown. "That is a rather serious accusation. I am not conspiring, and nor have I ever conspired with demons or necromancers. However, I am interested in hearing what evidence led you to this conclusion." "The personal diary of the same necromancer," Lily says, before adding, "and one of my companions tells me that there is a demon in the basement of this building at this very moment." It must have been Gerald. I didn't notice anyone else talking to Lily, and that's something Gerald could easily notice. The prince's face trembles and his lips twist into a sad smile. "You're right," he admits, and everyone suddenly tenses, myself included. "I never meant for things to happen this way," he continues, "but since you know, I have to ask you to act as if it never happened." "That's not what I expected." "Beyond so easily swayed. You will face judgment," Luck exclaims, moving forward to grab him. With a smile that seems more like he's crying, the prince says to Luck, "Stop." As if yanked back with a rope, Luck stops moving with an arm outstretched. I see the muscles in his neck rippling, but he doesn't move a single step further. Everyone suddenly bursts into motion trying to grab the prince. The glow of magic emanates from Lily's hand and she stretches it towards the prince, priming magic to take him down. Marco deploys a magical shield and everyone else just reaches towards him. But with a single sweep of his eyes, another word uttered, "Stop!" and everyone stops moving. Everyone, except me. I don't stop to think why. I just move. Slipping in between the various paladins, priests, and pieces of furniture, I reach to grab the prince. "Stop! Stop! Why isn't it?" The prince scrambles over the back of the chair towards the door as his skill continues to not work on me. But I am considerably faster than him, and he is completely unable to resist as I grab his arm, hauling him back towards me. "What do I do now?" "Release them," I say sternly. No, no, no! Get him away from me! He suddenly addresses the others, and they start moving again. But for some reason I'm not optimistic about my situation. Should I? I feel a slight tug from my belt, and there's a naked man in front of me, thankfully facing away from me. As suddenly as he appears, he disappears. Noticing something, I look down at the prince's chest. The prince looks down at his own chest, and everyone stops their motions to attack me and look at him. There's a massive hole there. POV Prince. I look down at my chest to see a gaping hole from a seemingly endless moment. I fail to realize the meaning of the hole as blood starts to drip in torrents over my luxurious clothing. Then it hits me. I'm dead. Suddenly feeling rather faint, my legs collapse and I begin to topple. Slowly. Ever so slowly. Somehow it doesn't feel all that bad. Perhaps this is not such a bad turn of events after all. I made a mess of just about everything, didn't I? Now somebody who actually knows what they're doing can step in and fix things up. Still, a few months in this life of a prince, it wasn't terrible. With all the snide remarks people made about my future prospects, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that not one person expected me to get this far. Not that it was by my own virtues, of course. It was an absurd combination of panic, luck, and magic. Funny thing, magic back in Tsukas, people would laugh at you if you believed in it, and yet things people did every day back home would be called magic over here more often than it would be called recognized as true nature. Psychic abilities. Everyone had them. Everyone. Could be something as small as being able to lift a pencil without touching it, or causing a slight breeze at will. But everyone had at least one psychic ability. Everyone, but me, that is. None of the psychiatrists could understand why I didn't. By all rights, by everything that we could see, you should have one, they say. Well, as it turns out, I did. Two, in fact, but neither of them could show their effects. The first, a form of hypnosis, is utterly powerless against other psychics, no matter how weak their powers. The second allows me to understand any form of spoken language. I did not know that there were other languages. Of course, I was relentlessly tormented by everyone else because of this. Classmates, teachers, and even passers-by. Everyone knew me. Even my parents gave up on me. I was on the edge of despair, trying to decide whether to continue under the pain or taking the plunge was a better decision. When I was summoned here, another world, Odwea. I had looked at the people around me. Thinking back, I felt something pass between me and them, undoubtedly an unconscious use of my psychic ability. And when I, in my confusion and panic, thinking that they had kidnapped me, said wait, I was astonished to find that they did so. They were equally astonished and not a small bit angry. I panicked more, and everything snowballed. At first I thought I could use my ability to get myself a life of luxury, but there were so many things that I couldn't understand. Demons. I thought they were just people who were being strangely affected by their psychic powers. It was not unheard of back in Tsukis. When I heard skeletons described as undying and tiring soldiers, I thought that they would be the perfect workforce. Magic, gods and goddesses, politics. I could not understand anything, so instead of making things better, I made everything worse. The demon was doing who knows what behind my back, always managing to find some way to weasel around my orders. And with my own weakness, I had to stay locked up inside the palace at all times. Although I could likely deal with an attacker at close range, a single arrow would be sufficient to take away my life. I wonder, what would I have chosen back then, had I not been summoned? No, I don't need to wonder. I would have chosen to die. Perhaps that would have even been better, if none of this happened. But either way, no matter what I did, no matter what I chose, I was destined to die. I opened my eyes one last time to take in the glamorous room from my position on the floor, and let the darkness envelop me. Gerald POV. Flesh of level 1 human absorbed. Experience gained 0. Durability recovered 0. Skill proficiency increased none. Skills gained psychic translation static. Traits gained none. Target killed. Your choice. Permanently retain the appearance of a human male, gain the target's memories and skills. Skills obtained shall be 1 proficiency level lower than the proficiency level of the target formerly had at the skill. Or gain the ability to switch between your original and the human male appearance at the cost relative to the difference between the 2 forms. Option 2. Error. Calculated cost exceeds predicted maximum mana regeneration for this user. Requesting administrator assistance. Please wait. Well, this is new. I look at the window for a few seconds, but nothing happens, so I look around me. Everyone is trying to figure out what happened, but in the confusion I slip back into Ferdinand's pouch. Guards quickly enter the room and everyone gets ready to fight, but the guards don't actually attack. They just send out a messenger to stand the guard at the door. Hey, you're alright? I asked Ferdinand. That was you, wasn't it? You killed him, he asks quietly. Yes, I did, I admit. I wish I didn't have to, but it looked like it was you or him and that was going to die here. And I wasn't about to watch you die. Are you alright? His question makes me by surprise. Maybe. I think so, I say. One of the good things about being me is that I don't get overwhelmed by emotions. There's some panic, some horror, but it doesn't affect me much. So you can turn into a human now? He asks suddenly. I groaned, pending confirmation, but it's not hopeful. Something underground catches my attention. A certain demon walking through the swirling mass of mana. A portal. Hey, you should be strong enough to survive, especially if you keep following these guys, won't you? I ask him, slipping out of the pouch and onto the floor. Probably, yeah. Wait, why? He replies suspiciously. Demon just went through a portal, chasing him now. No time to get you through all the guards and explain to everyone, I don't think. We may be separated for a while, I explained, already absorbing my way through the floor. Then the next floor, then the next floor, leaving a curiously shaped hole behind me, until I reach the basement. Bracing myself mentally, I fly into the portal. As I do, a couple messages greet me. Party leaders in a separate world to party member Ferdinand. Ferdinand is automatically clicked from the party. The fork is mightier than the sword, and will be unable to rejoin until he's in the same world as the party leader. Crap! Guild Doppelganger static use cost is set to 1000 mana per minute. The difference in form is too big. This is all I can do. You'll get there one day. Good luck. Double crap. End of chapter. And that, my friends, is the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please consider supporting the author from the links down below. And if you'd like to support this channel, there are numerous ways listed down below. The easiest of which would be to share this channel, subscribe, like and comment, and all the other stuff that Google wants us to push. But anyways, until the next video, I hope that you all have a good one, and I'll see you then. Cheers.